What's up, guys? It is Mercules here, and this is going to be commentary number 28. Actually, I should probably check that. I'm not so sure if this is commentary number 28. It is indeed commentary number 28. Alrighty then, first off I want to start off, as I always do, by talking about the gameplay. This is some big team slayer on Hemorrhage. I do go 37-0 and get the perfection. The host quits again, so I do not get the inconceivable or anything like that, which is a bummer. But it doesn't matter, still got the perfection. I guess that's all that really counts.
Tied the leader.
Got a few things I want to talk about today. Nothing really extra serious, just some light comedic subjects. I don't know why, but I sometimes like play this game with myself where if something is not perfect, like a game that I play, for instance Halo Reach, or a meal that I eat, or anything like that, I try to figure out what I could have done to make it perfect, like what options I could have changed. And I was doing this the other day, thinking about Halo Reach, and I came to the conclusion that if I had taken Halo Reach, not talking playlist, just talking game mechanics wise, I was trying to think to myself, what would I change in Halo Reach? Like if I was given complete control over Reach, like obviously in a custom game, you can't change the bloom, you can't change the bleed through, you can't change things like that, like weapon damage, particularly weapon damage, you can just choose player damage. So what I was trying to think about was what would I change if I could, you know, change whatever I wanted in the game. And I came to the conclusion that here's my list of things I would change. And I want to hear y'all's list of things too. Like if you had had Halo Reach to begin with and you could have changed it, like what would you have done to make it the perfect game, to make it where people didn't hate it as much as they hate Halo Reach now. And what I came to the conclusion is there would be no bloom. I would get rid of bloom. I would make the grenades less powerful. I could make it to where you could run a little bit faster, like 10 to 20% faster, jump a little bit higher, probably about 25% higher. I would make it to where there was no armor lock at all, and there was no invisibility, or there was no invisibility power-up. No, there is an invisibility power-up, just like Halo 3. There's no invisibility armor ability. I also would make it to where it has bleed through, like it did in Halo Reach. Or Halo 3, I don't know what I'm saying, sorry, like it did in Halo 3, and then I would probably, I think I could probably be satisfied with that. I think I could leave it at that, and that would be pretty good. And I want to know what y'all think you would do. Like, obviously some people are going to take out the jetpack. Personally, I love the jetpack because I use the jetpack. I think it's incredibly entertaining and fun to use, so I'm not going to hate on anyone else for using it. Hologram, I think is kind of useless, but it is pretty funny sometimes. So I would leave that in there. The drop shield, I actually think is completely fine. It just reminds me of the bubble shield from Halo 3. It's just like 100 times less lame version of armor lock, pretty much. But the reason I bring this up is because I actually am going to need y'all's help. I built myself a custom game type, pretty much. It's just a Slayer game type. It's called MG Custom. If you want to test it out for yourself, you can find it in my file share. Pretty much what I did is, oh, and there's 3 versions. There's Custom, which is Assault Rifle Pistol Starts, DMRs, which is DMR Assault Rifle Starts, and Pro, which is No Radar DMR Starts Pistol Seconds. And pretty much what I did was I downloaded the MLG Slayer V7 game type, and I put the radar back into it, the normal radar, and then I put 5 loadouts that you can choose from. And pretty much the only difference between the loadouts is that in each one of them you get a different armor ability. I put Sprint, Evade, Jetpack, Hologram, and Drop Shield. I put those 5 in because those I felt like were 5 that worked out well together. And I played a 1v1 earlier today against one of my friends on my friends list, and wow, some crazy lag right there. I was just watching that. Played a 1v1 today and actually had a pretty good time playing against it. It seemed a lot more competitive and a lot more like flowing of a game than it seemed a lot more quick is what it seemed like. Like even though we were both using evade, we were able to come after each other very fast and like engage each other at all these points. Like we couldn't escape from each other because we each had evade. So whoever was weak would evade away and the other person would evade to cut them off, you know? And it just it seemed like a really fun game to me. And I wanted to play like 5v5s, but I didn't have enough subscribers on today. So I would really appreciate it if you guys, my subscribers, would, you know, help me like pretty much play test this game. And I know, I mean, it's not going to do anything, but it's just I like playing custom games with my subscribers, and if I can get like a really fun version of this game type and we play 5v5 Slayer, I mean, I think we could have a great time. And I'd really like to do a commentary with gameplay from that game type. I think that would be pretty epic too. But yeah, like I said, I want to hear what y'all would change. Like, would you leave 50% bloom? Would you leave all the bloom? Would you take out all the bloom? Would you even change grenades? Oh, and I also put health. I changed the health system to where the health just recovers and you don't have to pick up health packs. I thought that was pretty necessary. Like, what would y'all do about the health? Would you leave armor lock in? Would you not leave armor lock in? My opinions have changed on this, actually, as the game's progressed. When the game first started, I left bloom and armor lock in, and then I just decided that just really, all it did was slow down the game. And really, the main flaw of Halo Reach that I believe everyone can agree on is that the game is much slower now. Because people can just escape better. And grenades are too powerful, so, you know, there's way more random killing going on that's not really intentional. Pretty much, it's a more noob-friendly game. And I've actually talked with one of my friends about this, and the point of the game that we were discussing was Super Smash Bros. Brawl for the Nintendo Wii. And if any of y'all know anything about that, it's pretty much, it's the third installation of Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. Came out on the N64 originally, and it was an incredible game. I started playing it on the GameCube. I didn't start playing it on the N64 until like just last year, maybe 2 years ago. But I have gotten pretty good at the N64 game. And the reason why is there is a level that you can reach in the N64 game where if you do everything right, you literally will be able to kill the other person without them touching you. But you have to do everything perfectly, and it's a level very, very few people have ever attained. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to put some gameplay from the N64 Super Smash Bros. Up on my channel just because I think it's really fun gameplay to watch. It's a very entertaining game. It's very simple, it's very quick to pick up, but it's almost impossible to master. And people bad people, I should say, hated that game because they could get absolutely decimated by the best players. But it was, like I said, it was almost impossible to get up to that really, really high level that the best players were at. So there was a very, very small number of players that could dominate all the rest of the players, but you hardly ever, you know, played them because this is back before live. There was nothing to play online against. All you did was just play people that you knew. So you almost never knew anyone who was that good. And so what happened is Melee came out, and Melee made it harder to master the game. They pretty much put a bunch more button combinations in, bunch more things you could do, so there's way more options to master. And then so it made it to where all the really, really good players got worse, and all the really bad players by comparison got better, because they didn't have to be as good to compete with the really good players. And of course that makes the really good players not like it as much because they don't dominate, and it makes the really bad players, you know, I mean, I guess they like it more, but honestly I feel like when there's not that incredibly high ceiling to shoot for, the game's just not as fun. And that's the same thing that happened with Brawl, except for they went way too hard. Like, in Brawl, they just lowered the ceiling so much to the point where you literally can't even master the game anymore. Like, because there's just so many different possible combinations that can happen. There's just no absolute domination in the game. There's kids who are very, very good, but I hardly ever play that game, and I play against, you know, friends who claim that they're the best that they know, and I'll only lose them by 1 or 2 lives. And that's just ridiculous. Someone who never plays that game should not be able to, you know, even compete with someone who plays the game all the time. And it's what I've decided to call a welfare game. And if any of you are on welfare, I don't mean this is a personal insult to you, it's just a fact of the matter. It's what Call of Duty has always been, and it's part of the reason why I believe Call of Duty has always been so popular, but at the same time just not as much fun, to me at least. The reason why Call of Duty is so popular is because it's a welfare game. Everybody can play it. If you pit a pro against a noob player, and it's, you know, first person to get to 50 kills wins, the pro's going to get to 50 first, of course he is, but the new player's going to get some kills because that's just the way the game functions. All you have to do is see the other person first. If the new player sees the other person first and he gets off one lucky shot, the other person's going to die. It doesn't matter what they do, doesn't matter how hard they strafe, doesn't matter how hard they evade. If they just get unlucky and get seen first, they're dead. That's the end of that life for them. You pit Ninja against my girlfriend playing Halo Reach, pretty much. She's never going to get a kill. She's probably not even going to hit Ninja. Ninja's going to go 50-0 against her. My girlfriend's going to cry. It's going to be a terrible time. And that is what has always made Halo different from Call of Duty. I've let my girlfriend play Modern Warfare 3 before, and she got like 7 kills. In her first game ever, she got 7 kills. That's ridiculous. It took Kelly literally, I want to say, 15 games before she got a kill in Halo Reach. Before she got a kill. The most kills she's ever gotten in a game is like 9, and it was a crazy game. And there was a game when I went like 64 and like 5. So I mean, she got 9 kills, pretty much just throwing random grenades and punching people. So all I'm saying is that's what makes Modern Warfare different from Halo Reach, and that's what I'm really, really hoping that they don't do in Halo 4, is make it more like a welfare game. Throw in way more options, make it way harder to dominate, and make it way easier to come in as a noob. Because The only reason I say that I hope they don't do that is because that's what I feel like happened with Halo Reach. And I don't feel like they meant to do it. I feel like it just kind of happened on accident. Because when you really look at it, Bloom made it really easy for good people to dominate. You notice that pros spam the trigger all day with Bloom and they still 5-shot kids. It's ridiculous. And, you know, noobs spam the trigger and just sometimes they 5-shot randomly, sometimes they don't. But the reason you can spam the trigger and 5-shot people is because the faster you aim, the faster you can pull the trigger. That's one thing I've realized in all my Halo playing experience is the faster you move the reticle with the right thumbstick, the faster you can pull the trigger and spam won't affect it as much. However, if you just strafe back and forth, you're not going to be able to spam because it's not going to help you out. And it's kind of unfair. It kind of throws a bit of randomness into the thing. It makes it not very much fun. It makes people complain about spamming and everything like that. But I mean, that's just part of the game. And another thing, jetpacks and everything like that, those weren't put in there. Armor lock was definitely put in there for noobs. It definitely was, like, without a doubt. But I know people who were new to the game, who had never played Halo before, who loved using armor lock. So you can't really fault it. It did bring some new people into the game. But the problem is that it didn't work as intended. They wanted armor lock and all these things to bring a whole new dynamic to the game. But instead what happened is the dynamic stayed the same and people just used them in really, really cheap and annoying ways, which they should have seen coming when they put it into the game. It's their fault. It's their mistake. At the same time, you know, they didn't put it into the game so it could be used cheaply. They put it into the game so it could bring whole new strategies, so it could change the way the game was played. Look at the levels that are available in Halo Reach that, you know, could not have been possible in Halo 3 because it just would have been ridiculous to try getting around the levels without sprint, without jetpack, without things like that. Now, invisibility I think was a huge mistake. I think they never should have put invisibility into the game as an armor ability. I think that was probably one of the worst things they did. Bloom, I didn't agree with it at first. I don't mind it now because I've gotten used to it. But it's supposed to add a whole new dynamic to the game. It's supposed to make the gun viable at both long and short range. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't try to make it a welfare game, but it ended up becoming a welfare game because noobs were able to spam and get 5 shots randomly. Noobs were able to use armor lock and survive stickies. That whole thing happened. So that's almost it for this commentary, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I am going to put up a message after the game that I got from the kid on the other team, Battlehard, and you see him. I hope you all have time to read it. It is kind of funny. And one more thing too, pause it if you don't have time to read it. I just would really like some advice from y'all on what type of commentaries you want to see me do. Do you want me to like tell true life stories? Do you want me to give advice? Just tell me what you want to do pretty much. And remember guys, like, favorite, and subscribe for more.